Well, hello there and welcome. You are listening to the Kindness Matters podcast, and I am your host, Mike Rathbun. What is this podcast all about? It's about kindness. It's a pushback against everything negative that we see in the news and on social media today, and it's a way to highlight people, organizations that are simply striving to make their little corner of the world a little better place. If you want to join in on the conversation, feel free. Go ahead and follow us on all of your social media feeds. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're even on LinkedIn under Mike Rathbun. Check us out. And in the meantime, so sit back, relax, enjoy, and we'll get into the Kindness Matters podcast. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I am so excited to have you here. And I am excited for you to meet my guest. When we think about kindness or big kindness operations, we don't often think of smaller cities in rural spaces. When you think of big honking kindness organizations, are usually in big cities, right? But I heard last year, depending on when you hear this, about an amazing organization in Owatonna, Minnesota. And it's a daycare. It's a freaking daycare run by one of the most incredible human beings I have ever had the pleasure to meet. Her name is Lisa Korbel, and I have her on with the show today. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is so exciting. I have never seen somebody else and then reached out to them and had them on the show. So this is a first for me. I just had to have you. I know that your story is that good that I wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, it's worth sharing.
It absolutely is. So the name of your group, that isn't the name of the daycare though, right?
No, my daycare is called There's No Place Like Home Daycare. And we call ourselves, and the things we do for the community, we've given ourselves a name, the Kindness Crew.
You are indeed. And when we think of a crew, we don't think of necessarily 2 to 5 year olds.
We don't.
But that's what you guys are.
Yep, they're the heart and the soul.
That is so awesome. And this all started, well, actually, this year will be your 10th year doing this, right?
Correct. Yep. This was our 10th giving season. We started back in 2015, so we've given for 10 seasons, but technically 2025 is our 10th year.
How do you count that? I mean, I know.
I was like,
my wife and I have this big, huge thing about how to count down.
Yes, in 2024, it was the 10th time of doing something, but, the seasons, I suppose.
Exactly. And so the first time that you decided to give, was that 2015? Or was
that is correct. Yeah.
Earlier?
Yep, 2015. Yep.
Okay. And that changed everything for you,
right?
That
changed, that set the story in motion.
Nice.
It did.
So talk to us about that. Tell us about it.
So back in 2015, the fleece tie blankets that are real popular, at least they were in the early 2000s. We decided, people love them, right? A warm, cozy blanket. It just does something for you. It makes you happy. It makes you feel warm. It makes you feel loved. You just wrap yourself in that and you feel that comfort. And we had been talking to the kids, myself had been talking to the kids about giving. We had just kind of finished with our gratitude and giving. And we said, let's do something for the community. And so we came up with the idea to make tie blankets. It was something simple we could do. The kids could, some of them could help me cut. We were working on our tying. We got some fine motor skills in on there. And some learning that went along with it. And then I contacted a local organization in the city of Owatonna that was called Lily Sparrow House. And at that time, Lily Sparrow House was our woman and children's shelter here in town.
Okay.
And when I spoke with the director, she had let me know that there was some families in there right now. And the blanket we had was full of cars and blues and reds. And we thought, oh, a little boy maybe would like this. I don't think it really would have mattered, but that's where we thought. She said, yep, there's a little boy here at the house right now. So we concluded for the day. I sent the kids home. I went to the home and I knocked on the door and I was met. I thought maybe it was going to be the director, but I was met with a resident.
Oh.
And so I explained to her again who I was, what we were doing. And the woman's eyes immediately filled with tears, which of course my eyes immediately filled with tears. And she told me that she was currently living in the home and the blanket was going to be for her son. And that we had this emotional exchange that was absolutely incredible. And I walked down those stairs, and I still get a little emotional about it today.
I'm getting emotional just listening to you tell it, and I've heard this story already.
I walked down those stairs, and in my heart, I knew right at that moment, like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this every single year. And I am not going to be the one that does it all. I want the kids to be with me every step of the way. And that's where it all changed. And now they are. They follow me through the entire process of giving.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I mean, you involve, well, you involve them in every step of the process, right?
Yes. Yep. They're there. So on World Kindness Day, we announced, now that we've done this for 10 seasons and we've tried to hit, Owatonna is a really cool community. We have about a population of about 28,000, but we have lots of services in town that help people in need and a lot of organizations that we have been able to give to. And so there's been fantastic opportunities for us to raise money, to collect items, to do things. And so it starts out where I announce it. The kids and I kind of tell everybody, we take to social media, we start telling moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, and then they start collecting money. But my families have taken it a step further, which has been really cool. And they have decided to do things like create things and sell things. So we've had everything from drawings to homemade Christmas trees to wreaths to hang on your door to cookies to hot chocolate. And the kids and their parents assemble these items and then sell them and give up the Kindness Crew all the profit.
So that's what I was going to ask. This is all done to support the Kindness Crew.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
So then we choose an end date. So we usually go about in exactly a month or so. And then I typically reach out to all the organizations, letting them know, hey, you've been chosen by the Kindness Crew. How can we best serve you this year? Do you need a monetary donation? Do you need some winter gear? Do you need hygiene supplies? What can we do that would most benefit you at this point in your organization? And so lots of times they'll say, hey, yeah, we could really use hats and mittens or deodorant. So the kids and I and their families will go to the local Walmart or the local Target and we'll have a shopping day. So I give everybody a list and we walk around. This year we filled 2 carts overflowing with blankets, soft, cuddly blankets. We had buckets full of deodorant and soap and razors and all kinds of stuff. The kids take it off the shelves, they put it on the counter, and we pay together as a group. So they are really there for the whole entire experience.
That's so
and then
cool.
This past week, we invite the organizations to come to my home, to the Kindness Crew home. Or we have also got a good in with the bus company, a parent that is a bus driver and has given us some rides. So we load up the bus and the moms and dads and everybody gets on the bus and we drive to these places and the kids get to see this year we got to see one of the places that we gave to is an organization that helps families coming out of homelessness or getting their first apartment. And imagine how exciting that is. But now you don't have a couch or you don't have a table, right? And now you're together as a family and you want to sit down and have a meal together at a table. And so this this organization offer, people can donate. We all get new furniture and we go, what are we going to do with this old table or this? And we think it's, to
Exactly.
us, maybe no longer has worth, but could mean so much to another family. So they have a really cool warehouse where they store all this stuff. And then they allow people to come in, and at no cost, they can outfit their entire home or apartment with beds and couches and tables and chairs. And so the kids got to see that. And it
That's so
was really,
freaking
really
cool.
cool. Really cool.
You never really even think about that, right? You think, okay, well, they were unhoused and then they were housed, and
Yeah.
that's the end of the story. And you don't think about all of the little things that go into that
Right.
being
Exactly.
housed.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, they got to see, from the beginning to the end, and it's so fun just to watch their little faces handing over a check or handing over. This year we filled buckets of things, of hats and mittens and stuff, and just for the kids to have that experience, I think
Yeah.
is pretty incredible. And I guess my whole hope is that they don't forget that feeling, because there's something about giving that fills us too, that fills our
Yes.
hearts too. And I hope they never ever forget that feeling, because then they're going to want to keep doing it, right? Even when they leave
Right.
this place, they're going to want to keep giving, keep
Yeah.
helping, keep showing up, keep extending themselves. It's
So if you could you talk to me about what goes into the process of choosing the beneficiaries of your giving for a particular season?
We have our our community, I would say, has our different things listed on a website. When you want to come to, the Chamber of Commerce has a list of our
Yeah.
nonprofits. Our United Way has a list of nonprofits. And I typically go on and say, I just started kind of at the beginning years ago and said, let's see how many we can hit over the next 10 years,
Yeah.
and how many we can hit. Sometimes we give more than to one. Community Pathways, I would
I
describe,
was gonna
it's
ask.
our food shelf, but it's kind of a hub in our community for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources that people can get there. They have an area where you can get clothing, you can get your food, you can get your hygiene products. There is an entity in there that offers dental care to children.
Okay.
Transitional housing is an entity that is within the Community Pathways building, where it
Okay.
allows people who are on the margins, that need, whether it's rent assistance, whether they need to be housed if they're escaping violence. It's a place where people can come and they can access all of those things at the same time and
Oh, for sure.
get
That
set up
that would
for
definitely be worth a
successes.
second donation or a second
Yeah, so lots of
targeting.
times we give them, a set. They always kind of get added in on. This year we did a bunch of hats and mittens and some hygiene products, and they said that this is the time of the year those things are. It's getting colder. People need those hats and those mittens. The weather's changing, and so those are those things that they always are in need of.
Oh, for sure. And you talked about hoping that the kids kind of kept this feeling of giving with them as they
Yeah.
grew up.
Yep.
You were talking when we were talking, you had a couple of instances where you've run into some kids that were part of the kindness crew with you,
Yes. Yeah.
and, and
I
they
I
remembered.
In fact, yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, on Tuesday when we did our delivery, I welcome back anybody that's ever been part of the kindness crew, because your
Nice.
membership doesn't cease when you walk out the door. It continues forever. And I've invited families along. Hey, if you want to come along for this delivery or whatever. In fact, a couple of those families did projects this year and raised money and handed me checks for a few
Nice.
$100s. So
Whoa.
it was pretty cool. I was delivering
Yeah.
to a school. We were able to gift all the schools a bucket full of hats and mittens and scarves. Every single school in our district, and then the two districts that are closest to us. And I walked in the hall, and a little boy, all of a sudden I hear, Lisa, Lisa. And I'm looking around like, well, who knows me? Oh, yep. It was a boy he's a third grader now. And he's like, that was my daycare. That was Lisa. He's telling all his buddies. So, yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I think they're remembering. I hope they're remembering.
That's so cool. Oh,
Yeah.
clearly they do. I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be a huge part of their core memories. When I was a kid, we were the kindness crew, and
Yes. Yeah.
we helped. That's so cool.
It is. It's really cool.
So talk to me about. Okay, now you've also worked with homeless kids.
No, no, not me.
Oak Hills Community Center.
That
We were
is,
talking about that.
yep, Oak Hills is, it has not come yet to Owatonna. It is in the
Oh,
works. It
sorry.
will, yep, that's okay. It will be, I don't know what their target date for opening is. I serve on a board called Transitional Housing here in Owatonna, and we will probably be doing a lot of work with them.
Okay.
Oak Hills Community Connections is trying to fill a gap in our communities, not just our community, but other communities as well. And that is placement for families. We find that there are women and children shelters. We find that there are shelters serving men, but there are not shelters serving men with children or families. And
Oh,
so
really?
that is their goal, is to have a facility that would be able to accommodate entire families that are, that want to stay together, want to
Yeah.
be together, want to live together. Of course, that's where you want to be, is with your family. And so that is their hope, that we will have a facility that would be able to accommodate quite a few families. So it would
Oh,
be
wow.
wonderful.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Why do you suppose that is? That there's one for men and there's one for women and children, but
Well,
no
and
mix.
I think women and children, kids are often and stay with mom. The
Yeah,
That ends up being the thing. Our men's shelter is often utilized by men coming out of hardships, rehab, where maybe it's not as safe as an environment for children to be in. And
yeah,
I don't know, I think things are changing. We're trying to, make room for families, and hardships are changing. It's been tough. Like, the last few years have been hard, and there are so many people that are 1 week of being sick away from not being able to pay their rent.
yeah.
Or, it doesn't take much nowadays
No, it doesn't.
to end up on those margins.
Yeah, there's such a need. And, when you were talking about all these organizations just there in Owatonna, I'm like, you wouldn't think that Owatonna had a need for all of those organizations, but there is, right? Unfortunately. I mean, you'd love to be able to say there's no need
Right.
for it, but
And when I got on the board for transitional housing in here in town, I was not aware of the situation of homelessness in Owatonna, because it's not a visible thing, right? It's not.
yeah,
I remember as a kid going out to San Francisco with my family and seeing people on the streets, right?
boy, yeah.
And I think we have this idea in our head that homelessness means living on the street. And homelessness it is not defined
No,
by living on the street. It's couch hopping, it's living in your car, it's moving from friend to friend's house. It's finding something temporary and then moving on to the next. It's not necessarily just
right.
living on the streets. And I was shocked when I found out that there were 120 some odd children in our school district that were considered homeless.
That
Isn't that
seems
and
like
just
a lot.
so I think, well, okay, if it's here and we're not necessarily visibly seeing it, it's probably lots of other places too, not
Yeah.
just in our own community. But we've lived in Owatonna for approximately 21 years now, and people show up here in absolutely incredible ways, from giving to helping these organizations. We just had a concert event that was given by some local musicians, incredible musicians,
Nice.
and they raised money for Oak Hills Community Connections and for transitional housing. In the course of 2 days, they raised $30,000.
Oh, whoa, that's huge.
It's giant. And so
Wow.
it's just, it's people show up, people care. People
Yes.
are kind. They
Yeah,
are.
absolutely. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this, is because we don't always see those people, right?
No,
When we watch the news, we look at our social media feeds or whatever. You can watch Mr. Beast or whatever. I don't know if that's his name.
yeah, I have teenagers. Yeah, I think it's Mr.
Oh,
Beast.
okay. All right. Yeah. So you would know. Um, and that's fine and well, but we don't see the heroes that are out there every day working to make their part of the world a little better place. People like you, for
There's so
example.
many. There's so many of them.
And there are, but you know what? You would never know that
People are
unless,
humble.
yeah, no, you're right. And that's a, oh boy, that's a whole other discussion, I think, you know, because it's fine to be humble, but when you're, I don't know. I don't know. I have no
Right,
answers.
right.
I'm not required to have answers. I ask the questions, dang it. Um, eh, you're amazing, and this organization is amazing. So, have you got any big plans for your 10-year anniversary this year?
I don't, not yet, but of course I've
A
been
little soon, I
thinking
understand.
and
I mean,
coming up. My kids would tell me when I asked, we always set a goal, right? We said, okay, how many dollars do we want to set this year? And like kids are like 60,000, and I'm like, oh, I would love that, but we're just a daycare raising money. We don't have a 501c. We're not that caliber.
are you
Uh,
limited
right.
without that 501c3? Are you limited to how much you can raise?
That's a great question. I have no overhead, so
Yeah,
we give everything that we get. So basically all I am is the exchange. Hand it to me and I hand it back.
yeah. But you got close this year. I
We
guess
got
we haven't
we
talked about that.
Yeah, the kids raised
Yeah.
$6,020.24. We hit that 6,000 like at about 8:30 p.m. and I got a message and someone said, "I want to give. Tell me how much I need to give to get you to 6,000 because I saw you were close." And I said, "We were already over 6,000." They're like, "I'm going to give $20.24 because it's the year of 2024."
Yes. I love that.
I'm like, "That's a perfect ending. You can't get much better than that."
2 and 5 year olds raise $6,000, y'all.
That's yeah,
I don't
right?
want to hear any excuses.
No, none. I mean, they are. People say
They're
things
little
like, "Oh my gosh, how
powerhouses.
did you do that?" I'm like, it's not me, it's them.
Yeah,
I'm the behind the scenes. I,
yeah.
I, they don't have a Facebook account, so they can't go on and tell everybody what they're doing. And uh,
That is some good networking right there. Those kids are set up for the future.
I hope so. I do.
Oh my gosh. This is
Oh,
so you're done for 2024.
yep.
And did we talk about which organizations we talked about one of them, I think.
We talked about, yep. So we gave to Oak Hills Community.
Right.
uh yep, connections that, and then we were able to give them some money just to kind of help them with their capital campaign. We gave money to what's called Furnishing Hope, which is run by our Catholic Charities here in town, and they're the ones that have the furniture that are helping people out. That money is going to
Yep.
help them pay for their warehouse. They've gotten a truck now, so they can help deliver to families. Because
Ooh.
that's one thing. People might
I
not
mean,
have a truck
furniture
and
is
a
great,
trailer,
but if you could
right? So they
deliver it
have an
too.
enclosed truck so they can keep things dry. We gave to a crisis resource center here in town, which helps families, women and children escape violence, um, gives them a lot of good resources, sets them up with some caseworkers and so forth. We were able
Yeah.
to give them money as well. Real Life is an organization, part of Young Life Christian group here in town.
Yep, yep,
And
yep,
Real
yep.
Life is the entity that kind of works with the kids that are in our alternative learning center, works with teens that are parenting. teens that are pregnant. Just helps them do all kinds of things, from just having a place to come where you feel welcomed, helping them with resources, getting them to appointments. The list goes on and on what they're doing for the community. We gave them some money, and then we gifted them the blankets. Again, we were talking about how a blanket makes you feel. And we were able to give all 16 of their children, they're under 18, they are serving, maybe 18 and under, we were able to gift them with a blanket each. And then we did a little drive where we collected hats and mittens and scarves. And I thought, people are going to get a couple of things. I had great aunts from Iowa sending up crocheted hats. I had women from the gym that I work out crocheting hats. I had a printing company here in town, Oak Glen, who donated hats and mittens and scarves. Grandparents, parents. Every time I went to visit my mom, she had another hat. My mother-in-law had another hat. We ended up with 150 hats, 83 pairs of mittens, and about 60 scarves. So we were able to give to all 4 of our elementary schools, our middle school, our high school, our alternative school, our women's shelter, community pathways, and then Blooming Prairie, which is a small community south of us, and Medford, which is a community north of us. We're all able to get a bucket full of hats and mittens and scarves to help keep their hearts and their heads and their hands warm this year.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
The power of an auntie or a grandma, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. And they were, some of them were just adorable. And, you could tell that talent and love was poured into each one of those hats.
I'm going to have to talk to my wife, because she Medicare now, and she joined the Y as part of her Medicare benefits, and she does like this water Zumba class.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you should talk to those ladies. I don't know how many of them knit or whatever, but get a group together.
Yeah, donate to the schools. They always, always, always need those at the schools.
Yeah.
Or your local food shelf. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many places.
There is. It's Lisa, pretty cool, isn't it?
Korbel, you are amazing. I absolutely love the fact that you took the time to come on and talk to me. I love this organization. I cannot wait to see what to do a year from now.
Yeah, my brain's been churning. I'm hoping we can do some stuff throughout the year that carries on, that sets us up for the giving season.
Yeah, for sure. Look for you on Facebook. The Kindness Crew.
Yep, the Kindness Crew.
Does the name change every year?
Well, this is the first year I've done a social media page. Other than my own private social media page, I just decided not to go with that this year, and decided to create, because people are curious and they want to see, and I have to protect kids and their identities and their things as well. So we wanted to make something a little bit more easy to access, that doesn't have names and things attached to it. So
the name of your Facebook group is the Kindness Crew Service Project 2024.
Yeah, we're going to have to change that name, aren't we?
I was going to say, is it going to be same name except 2025?
We'll put 2025 on it, you bet. Yep.
Okay. So if you want to go find out what's happening with the Kindness Crew,
check us out.
Owatonna, make sure to follow, make sure to donate if you can.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure you have a place to take that, right?
You bet.
Do you guys have a website?
We don't. But, we just keep getting bigger and bigger, so I'm just going to have to come up with more and more.
Somebody's going to have to step up.
I probably got a parent that's capable of that, right?
It's got to be. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Much, much luck to you guys in 2025.
Yes, thank you so much.
We'll talk again.
I hope so.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
I want to thank you for taking this time to listen to this episode with my guest, Lisa Korbel. I hope that you're able to take something positive from Lisa's message and from the time that you spent with me. Maybe you'll be inspired, Maybe you'll be motivated. Maybe you'll be moved. If you experienced any of those positive feelings, please consider sharing this podcast with your friends and family. Also, feel free to follow us on our socials like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Just look for the Kindness Matters podcast or a variation of that. This podcast is part of the Mayday Media Network. If you have an idea for a podcast and need some production assistance, or have a podcast and are looking for a supportive network to join, check out MaydayMediaNetwork.com and check out the many different shows like Afrocentric, Spoiled by Movie, Generation Mixtape, In a Pickle Radio Show, Wake Up and Dream with D. Anthony Palin, Stacks O'Pax, and the Time Pals podcast. We will be back again next week with a brand new episode, and we would be honored if you would join us. You've been listening to the Kindness Matters podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rathman. Have a fantastic week.